Fortnite Creative was a revolutionary game mode that was released at the start of Season 7, leading to this iconic image. And not soon after this one, that everyone was so accustomed to getting when booting up the game. I won't be discussing Party Royale experiences in this video, but they have their own weird side to them, so if you'd like me to discuss them next, please let me know in the comments. While in the last video I explained how IMG has exclusive rights to use Fortnite properties, that wasn't exactly true. Although Epic Games started out using them, and still do use them for major deals and things like clothing, they themselves also reserve the rights to use their own properties too, and through internal teams and specialized metaverse/gaming companies, they produce creative maps. These maps both spawned an entire industry and are very strange at the same time, with there being a surprisingly large amount of them. And although still not a business model they use today, it was a small part of the game I remember, so I thought it'd be fun to go back and talk about them. It wouldn't be until Season 9, only 2 seasons later, when Fortnite would start monetizing their new mode. The Clutch and Grind collaboration with Air Jordans, which is both the first shoe brand to work with Fortnite and would be the first to also receive kicks, came with a creative game and challenges. I say game because Fortnite treated this map as an LTM and gave it its own UI menu option instead of having you load up into creative itself. This game mode was super basic but really fun. It consisted of you having icy feet and sliding down a street, collecting as many coins as possible to beat the other players. Also, the reward for the challenges was a free skateboard backbling with a ton of sick edit styles. The O2 is a live music venue in London and was recreated and released as a creative map in collaboration with Easy Life, a British alt-pop group who had their concert in creative. This marked a huge change from their previous in-game concerts, which were on the Battle Royale island itself, and I remember caused some controversy at the time. You have to remember, the concerts we had before this were Marshmello, who was the first of his kind, and the extremely beloved Travis Scott concert. Along with the band being less known, the cosmetics were mid, and this led to a lot of people having a bad taste with where Fortnite was leading branded creative maps, and concerts as a whole. Later in the same season, we got the Ariana Grande Rift Tour, which arguably they did a much better job with, but people still were not happy with the change to creative. This event did actually relate to the story though, and, well, more in a roundabout way. If you bought the skin and attended the event, you'd get a free style of the skin too. This makes no sense to me. If I'm already a big enough fan to buy the skin, wouldn't I want to attend the concert if I could? Instead, you're just locking people out of the cosmetic for zero reason. They do this for a while though with a few cosmetics, including the Air Jordans, which got a second island with Questline, which I was just talking about for their second item shop style, and a hub. Chapter 3 Season 1 gave us the long-awaited Doctor Who collab, except it was just an emoticon in a creative island themed around the show, with box fights, some story missions, racing, and puzzle games. Really, they were all over the place with this one. This was, however, the first time they worked with a TV show or film to produce a creative map, and this was super underwhelming to the fans, as a mini battle pass had been leaked for quite some time. This, along with previous things, like them showing the Wreck-It Ralph trailer in Battle Royale, which I thought worked better, makes me question why anyone would go out of their way to play this. In more recent years, though, they seem to have gotten a much better formula, where they will do watch parties for things like Star Wars, FNCSs, film festivals, and anime like Dragon Ball, and most recently a new episode of Dr. Stone premiered in collaboration with Crunchyroll. Then all the way in Chapter 4, during the second collaboration with Coachella, they released an in-game venue that allows you to experience the music festival along with a digital merchandise tent, whatever the hell that means. Sam Schoonover, innovation lead for Coachella, said, "The future of in-game music and art experiences should not mimic the real world, but reimagine the magic and make it more accessible via a new medium." If this is what they mean, count me out, please. More minigames and an art park were also included. The Playwave Island series was next and included challenges for a lot of XP and more mid-cosmetics no one will touch. This added a community hub and islands based off songs featured by these artists: Kali Uchis, Glorilla, Youngblood, Willow, and Miramasa. Wave 2 of this hit soon after and gave us, oh boy, this did not age well, David, Billie Eilish, Juice WRLD, Machine Gun Kelly, Glaive, Bass, J. Cole, Kuko, Kwano, Imagine Dragons, and Bring Me the Horizon. I'm sorry if I butchered any of those. In Chapter 5, Fortnite officially embraced the UEFN and changed it to UEFN maps, which definitely didn't make it hard researching for this video. The first of these were their second shoe collaboration to get an island, Nike, who released Airphoria, a large Nike sneaker-themed city where you go around on a virtual sneaker hunt. Since then, Fortnite has only officially worked to release assets to UEFN like Star Wars, The Walking Dead, and Squid Games. They do commission these assets to be used for game modes like the 3 Star Wars theme ones last May 4th and TMNT Dimensions. I thought it also important to mention their March Through Time event, which famously has people throwing tomatoes at and emoting while Martin Luther King Jr. read his speech in-game. Fortnite didn't leave politics just yet though, as a lesser-known map created for the 2024 presidential election by the Harris Walls campaign was Freedom Town, in which it encouraged you to vote for Kamala Harris. It had classic games systems like racing, parkour, and everyone's favorite, objectives focused on their campaign pledges, such as affordable housing and small business tax breaks. What voter audience did they think they were capturing here? The people playing these maps still have another 18 years until they can actually vote. This map was also heavily marketed as being gun-free and friendly, showing that the left is trying to take away the Second Amendment in Fortnite 2. Although this map wasn't officially produced by Epic Games, which we'll get into in just a second, this is just an extremely odd case to me, and they seem to be leaving map creation themselves behind. There is actually a trend we see between these collabs though. They follow the rise and fall of the metaverse, enabling more studios to do it themselves, which lead us to the second part of this video. How large a player base Fortnite has, it's no wonder many companies would want to put their name inside the game to expose players to it. LG Electronics, and the studio behind the hit creative map Ultra City, mentions when talking about the creative map that, over the past 2 years, referring to 2020 and 2022, the virtual space has become increasingly important for brands seeking to engage with consumers and spread the word about their latest and greatest offerings. They are very much correct in their statement. The online scene, especially due to COVID, had blown up over just a few years, and companies wanted to monetize off it any way possible. Roblox, who had grown massively during the pandemic, had seen some success from brands creating maps due to their easy-to-use UI, and Fortnite followed shortly behind with the launch of Chapter 5. Back to Ultra City though, this map was a promotion with Ultra Gear, their new gaming product lineup, so at least the collab made sense. And they hosted a tournament on Twitch with popular content creators for players to win free merchandise, which is awesome. Nerf and Epic Games have quite a tight relationship, which I highlighted in my last video, so it shouldn't come as a shock to me that they have 6 different creative maps. Many companies like Nerf will do things like this in order for you to simply keep seeing their logo or products to strengthen their brand. This relies on a psychological phenomenon known as the mere exposure effect, in which it describes that people who are exposed to the same thing repeatedly become familiar with it and develop a preference for it. This is a part of the reason metaverse spaces were blowing up, with companies wanting to get their name into every aspect of our lives. These maps were each interlinked by a portal system which allowed you to travel through islands easily, and I'll just have what each map offered on screen because there's a lot. The studio Beyond Creative worked with 100 Thieves, who had a creative hub in 2020 with Cash App branding. AMD processors had 4 maps, a hub, a realistic recreation of their newest processor before it was even shown off to the public, and a death run and battle arena. DreamHack, a gaming lifestyle company, had a prop hunt made. Quidia, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, an investment company, made Tilted Towers Reborn. Daria, a historic town in Saudi Arabia, had their World Heritage Site at Tariff made in-game. This one reminds me a lot of how Minecraft used to have places doing things like this back in the day. They worked with LEGO to create LEGO Tycoon Tilted Towers, and the popular Fortnite game Only Up was released around this time and spawned a whole slew of company slop ripoffs like Chunky Campbell's, the fucking soup company. Twice. The Electric Prologue Dash got a parkour map with the ability to check out their new car and see all customizable options, and Polo and Ralph Lauren got a racing game. One of the craziest in my opinion is the International Committee of Red Cross creating an education combat game to teach about the real rules of war. This included one of the worst slogans I could have imagined for this game. Do you have what it takes to play by the rules? Ew, what dude? Back to sillier things though, Honda made a Treehouse Tycoon, Labyrinth, and had their own hub. The Giannis Dream Arena, which Epic commissioned, and NFL and Visa had their own hub zones. Time X had a map with 6 different games. FaZe Sway and Ghost made Urban Zone Wars. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon had you play with him, and the new lineup of Samsung products would help you along the way. I don't even know what that could mean. Amari Code Perfume made a speedrun map, and Beyond Creative has had 16 other projects with different companies. I think I've gotten my point across though, so I'll just show the rest up on screen now. Beyond Creative, although one of the biggest of these UEFN companies, shows just how one brand in this whole ecosystem of brands covers all of these massive companies that honestly have no reason being in gaming, let alone Fortnite. This is one of the reasons why Fortnite won't stop their metaverse project. It gives both companies a lot of freedom to experiment with new things like unveiling products, and even the ability to learn about a whole place on Earth, as well as a place to put new consumer eyes on their products. They've also spent so much money on it, so I'm sure that's a reason too. Bigger UEFN companies like Beyond Creative also get paid directly by the companies they work with, rather than Epic taking profits from them. There are a few more things I noticed while researching for this video which I found interesting. 1. Epic never seems to want to put any resources towards any good cosmetics going towards creative map challenges. 2. Every single article that writes about a company and their creative map always says it's the next big thing, and makes them sound so millennial. 3. Creative map companies love to copy already classic staples of the creative game mode, like box fights or Only Up, because they are easy to make and contain large player bases. 4. Fortnite yet again seems to be branching out with companies who at the time couldn't have been easily introduced to the game, like shoe brands, music festivals, and artists, as well as cars. Funny enough, these are all things that the metaverse introduced in Chapter 5, and we don't see these types of brands doing this too much anymore. Now we see fast food brands like Chipotle making maps. Unfortunately, a lot of these creative maps have been lost to time, as only toddlers play them. So I can't cover them all. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like it, and maybe you'll like some of my other content. Thank you for watching.